I messed up again. He doesn't trust me anymore. Maybe I shouldn't trust him. I don't know. He said I almost got him killed. He said that the stuff I gave him in the yard is why he got jumped. I should have just left him alone. I was trying to help, but I probably shouldn't have. Maybe Morgan and Crane were right. I don't know if I should tell him anything, but what else am I supposed to do? There's nobody left to talk to. And they all leave anyway. Wish you were still alive. Sup, Dr. Birdman?
Good evening, little one.
I'm sorry if you were busy.
Never too busy for you.
I have a question for you. Well, kind of a question, I guess.
I'm sure I have kind of an answer.
I mean... Okay, well, there... Okay, first of all, pressing question. Do you think people can come back from the dead?
I mean, we've done it before as medical professionals. Just depends on how long.
6 years?
No. Cloning, maybe. DNA won't be the same person, same experiences. Consciousness is not copied, so could be a different person entirely.
My brain is having a hard time reconciling with my partner being alive then.
Your partner.
Malfo. And Enos, you know. That's a whole complicated mess.
So they faked their deaths.
They must have or something, but how did they show up there at that exact moment?
Exact moment for what?
When I may or may not have tried to do a dark ritual with Chi-Chi and they kind of appeared out of nowhere?
As someone who works in hallucinations, that's what it had to be.
I guess that's possible. It's a weird one and I can't wrap my brain around it. Weird shit always happens during this time.
Fall brings out the crazies, it seems.
Sometimes I think we are the crazies.
Do you now?
Maybe. Heart seems to
Defined.
think so.
Hart does a great many things himself that he wishes not to admit. He buries his head in the sand. Out of everyone I've tried working with, he needs my counseling the most, but refuses.
I almost got him killed.
How so?
When we were at the prison, I brought him a bunch of stuff before you and me and Morgan had talked. And then I gave him some more stuff after we had talked. But I guess I did it in the middle of the yard, and he said everybody saw me giving him shit, and then they jumped him, and he said it was my fault.
Sounds like he's deflecting blame of different things to other people. No, it was not your fault. It wasn't his fault either. Those attacking him, that is the fault of. They are to blame, no more, no less.
He won't forgive me for it. I tried to talk to him the other day, and I apologized, and I asked him if he forgave me, and he avoided the answer, and then I asked him again, and he still avoided. And Malfoy tried to say, hey, she's asking for forgiveness, and he just didn't answer.
You're telling me the same man that tried to murder my wife, and then when she was in a fugue state, gaslight her into a different path and kidnap her, won't forgive you for transgressions of, quote unquote, giving him goods. Yes, he sounds like a very logical person.
I get it. I know it's stupid, and I know it shouldn't bother me. But I thought we were friends, and I thought he did trust me, but now I don't think he does anymore. At all.
Then he doesn't deserve your friendship, does he?
I don't know. After everything with Hades and Zeus back in the day, I forgave him for that. I know why he did what he did, and I know that he had to do what he did. I understood it, but I even forgave him for that. And they were my family. But he just doesn't. He doesn't. I don't know. He's changing. Changed. Maybe I've changed. I don't know.
We all change, but he's become cold while you're trying to help the world. There's a difference. He is being selfish while you're being selfless.
That's all I want to do is help people. But the people that I keep trying to help just go away. Or die. Or kill the people I care about.
People die. That's an unfortunate part which cannot be controlled, unfortunately. We'll all face that path one day. So I can't make any promises ever down that road, but I can honestly say I'll never betray you nor leave randomly.
You say that, yet everybody does. But I'm kind of getting used to it, I guess. It's more annoying now than anything.
I stuck by you when there was nothing to gain. Sure, it was good to have someone with your stature on my side during my quiet days in the shadows, but to be fair, a lot of times you were more likely to fuck me over than not because I didn't know you close enough. Now, I'm quite fond of you, and I don't see a reason to leave.
I wouldn't fuck you over.
Of that, I have no doubt. And at least if something did happen, I would at least ask you first what happened exactly and talk to you instead of shut you off. Maybe it was a misunderstanding.
I don't know what to do about Hart. I have.
Hart is not the person you think he is, and I can promise you that. My issues with him aside, I can tell you he is cold. I can tell you he's a murderer. I can tell you he's a thief. I can tell you he is everything they claim I am. But I don't lie about it. At least not to my friends.
Are we friends?
I would consider us more family, but sure.
I'll take it.
The amount of times I've done different things for either you or your mother was not for one grandiose favor later down the road or a chance to be in red, so to speak. I did it because I respect your mother and I care for you.
Do you know why I help out all of the criminals that I help out?
I am curious.
Because it fucking keeps me alive. I've watched what they do to the people that they don't like. And I've watched what they do to officers they don't like. They gun them down, or they shoot them, or they set up ambushes for them. That's why I help them. Because it keeps me alive.
I don't need you to pay me anything to have me like you, Miss Evie. I don't seek things from you. Yes, people from time to time need things, sure. But the relationship we have is not one of give and take.
It feels like it is with most everybody else, though.
Fuck everybody else then. Use it to your advantage. Find a way to.
I mean, that's kind of what I try to do. It keeps me from getting shot.
What happens when your mother eventually passes? I'm curious. What is your next move?
Well, she's immortal, so I don't have to worry about that, right?
Humor me.
You ask it like I haven't already been through it. You know she's not my biological mom, right?
I think you're avoiding the question.
I don't know. I'll do what I did before. Take care of myself.
What's that?
Everybody ends, like I said, everybody ends up leaving. My dad left, my mom left. She'll leave eventually. Y'all will probably leave eventually. Everybody else is left. Hart left.
Dying is not leaving. Yes, one day me and my wife will die. And it'll be of great sadness, not for ourselves to be gone, of course, whether you believe in some cosmic force or the void of nothingness. It will be sad because we left you behind, sure, but know that it will not be a want of ours. I ask you what you will do when it's your mother's time to pass, because I think you need to think about the legacy of your family.
What legacy?
Come now. even now, when your mother's collective is quiet in the city, the rumors of the past still spread. Are you gonna let it die when she goes?
It was her thing. I don't know. I thought she was gonna be taken anyway before it's when all the stuff was happening with the trial. When they thought they had her caught.
She would have never stayed in there long, I assure you. Just my organization alone back then was ready to help. A grand deal of others would have as well.
If she
I
passes,
could have strung.
Could have
Go ahead.
what? Well, no.
The point is we would have made sure she was fine.
That's the point. If she goes, wouldn't you guys just protect what she created? But the things y'all do sometimes. Sometimes I don't understand it all.
The Mongolian Empire, how was it built?
I don't know.
Raiding and pillaging and death and violence, and then prosperity, health, science, religion. Roman Empire, how did it start? How did it build? With death and violence and carnage, rape and pillaging, and yet science, growth, prosperity. The Chinese, the Americans, the British, every empire starts with a few dark deeds, then a few more, then a few more, and then you can build the good things afterwards. Every great leader was a criminal at one point. You have to do dark things to rise. Never forget that. But the good ones do the dark things they need to do to rise, to lead and shepherd those forward that need it. Otherwise, chaos. Even worse than the dark deeds done.
I've never thought about it like that before.
Everything I do, everything my wife does, everything your mother has done.
Everything I've done?
Indeed. Thousands of despots before us have had to do it to lead and guide those who can't lead themselves to prosperity.
Her legacy isn't my legacy, though.
Say it one more time.
Her legacy, it's not mine. It was hers. So to answer your question, if she went, or if she passed, or if she died, I know others would be able to take care of what she built. But I don't know what I would do.
Perhaps it's time you start giving that thought. It comes for us all one day.
Death comes for us all in the end.
Indeed, so why not make your mark while you still can? We can't wait for the day, and God forbid, I'm not saying it's coming anytime soon, nor do I wish it. But it will happen, and you can't wait for the day your mother dies to plan what you're going to do. You need to seize that idea as soon as possible. Start building, and lean on your friends to do such.
I feel like I'm aimless right now. When I was dealing with my mom's situation, when I was trying to solve that puzzle, I had something to work on and a goal to work towards. And then we solved it and we figured it out and we created the serum and I blocked that part of her. I did that. But it's done, and I don't know what to do now, and and now there's not even the marshals, and now I feel like I'm aimless again, and I don't know what to do.
Well, it is not your direction in life, but until you find it, I can give you a purpose. Not a permanent purpose, but something to build towards until you figure out what you wish to do with yourself. That way you don't float through the void aimlessly.
What do you suggest?
We use that sharp mind of yours, and medical know-how.
To do what?
Unlike my wife's research, mine stagnates a lot. I have a lack of funds and help as she does. Mine, such as yourself, would be, how to put it, a boon.
What are you working on?
Mental health.
I mean, that's a very broad topic.
I have an issue with those who... Oh, let me put it this way. How often do you find yourself on duty fighting the Rangers, fighting the Syndicate, fighting this, that, and the other, just charge forward with a ton of guns trained on them like they have no fear? It's a disease. They lack the ability to keep themselves safe. Fear is evolutionary, and for some reason, said evolutionary traits has left them.
They get shot at and they run towards the bullets.
Imagined if they were in a healthier state of mind, how easier your job could be. If they actually feared the dangers, feared the snake in the grass, the shark in the water, the spider in the web, the gun trained at them. Imagine how much of the city you can get under control. A different form of despot, perhaps, but a healthier city, healthier minds, a healthier you, and a healthier me. You don't have to give me an answer today, of course. Think on it.
Well, what would you want me to do? What could I do?
Well, we can talk over my research. There's something missing. I don't know what. I can cause anxiety and dread quite easily at this point. Spent the last 3 years perfecting it even.
So what's missing?
The ability to hallucinate with it, I feel. If they saw their fears manifest before them, it would temper most souls.
Dax
Make 'em
used
more
something
docile.
on my mom once. It made her relive her past. But I don't know what it was. I remember her telling us about it when, well, after they found her. Whatever he did, whatever the gas was or whatever it was, it made her regress.
Who did this?
There's a guy back in, well, a while ago. It was like 4 years ago. They called him Mr. Bags. He was psychotic, like psychotic. But he was the first person to go head to head with my mom and Arthur. he tricked my mom into thinking that they were friends. But in the end, he ended up being her ultimate enemy. There's even a video I can show. I have it somewhere. I have to find it. Because he made this video, and it was him threatening her, and nobody would listen. And I tried to show the cops, and nobody would listen. And then he kidnapped her. And he used this stuff on her, and it made her regress, and she thought she was still back in the well. And then she ended up in the hospital. And it took her days to snap out of it. But I don't ever remember what he used. But it was a long time ago. But there was, whatever it was it was somewhere in the industrial area. She'd probably remember if you can actually get her to talk about it, but she doesn't like talking about it. But I'm not sure what it was. Maybe if you can figure out what he used, you could use a chemical like that or something.
Well, I don't wish to steal outright someone else's research.
He stole it from something else. He wasn't a scientist at all. You know, he stole it from something. It started with a B or something.
Started with the B.
But I can't remember the name.
This could further my research.
It was a long time ago.
Still, even if this is a dead end, which it might not be, a proper scientist by my side and my wife, this research could actually be possible. Could come to its natural conclusion.
I just need something to focus on.
I can offer that.
Else. So, if you need the help, if you want the help, if you don't mind.
It's not a pity offer that I give you, Miss Evie. I am asking for your expertise, not because you are my friend or someone I wish to protect, because I need you. Don't look at it as a pity thing. Look at it as me coming to someone that I respect and begging for their assistance.
You see through me sometimes, don't you?
How so?
Sometimes I pretend like I'm not as smart as I actually am because it makes people less on edge.
I'm quite jovial around a lot of people to make them not on edge as well. The nice man for the longest time couldn't be that monster that they described. Until he was. We all put on masks. I don't give a fuck about your mask. You don't care about mine.
No. All of the officers think you guys are monsters. But you're not.
Oh, we are in a way. Remember this, Miss Evie. Remember it well. No matter how good you are in life, you could be a paragon of good, a saint of whatever church you wish to follow, a good duder of the city, a paladin among vagabonds. But remember this: you are the villain of someone's story, no matter what, no matter how good or how evil. You are the villain to somebody. Let's not try to please everyone, because you never will.
Yeah.
From what I understand, he was a good man.
He was a great man.
I've done my research into him.
Really?
Indeed. I know he's why quite a few Rangers left. I know to end our war with the Rangers, me and Kato, excuse me, met atop a hill where that gentleman right there gave him his cut, I believe. And he told me about that man. Told me good stories. I also know he was a killer, a murderer, a villain to somebody.
But he
What a
was
good man.
person.
Now, the shadow of what he left, unfortunately. Killers, murderers, thieves, and shite souls.
I killed him.
You were the one to do it. That I did not know.
It was my gun that killed him. The night he died, it was a huge fight in Sandy. And he was dressed all in black. He never, ever blacked out. But he was blacked out that night for some reason. He was on the bridge. Just over in Grapeseed. Near the hangar. And I had my PDAR. And he aimed at me. And I didn't know who he was. And I opened fire. And I gunned him down. I was trying to protect Malfo.
Let me ask you a question. If I was to go steal from a bank, got away with the money, and I bought you a gift and you accepted it eagerly, not knowing where that money came from, not knowing how the gift was obtained, does that make you a thief?
No.
Then would that make you a murderer if not only did you not know who he was, you didn't know what his intention was?
I know this, and I've tried to weigh that back and forth in my head for a long time. For years since he died. I didn't know it was him, and I was protecting my partner. I didn't know. But it was still my bullets that killed him, and then I tried to save him that night. We were in the hangar in Grapeseed. He was bleeding out, and the Rangers wouldn't stop. I told them, I kept yelling at the fucking Rangers to stop because Terry was gonna die because he was bleeding out. And Desmond and I were trying to save him, and then I got shot down, and I was laying there bleeding, still trying to save him, and they wouldn't fucking stop. And then he died, and there was nothing I could do. He died in my fucking arms, and I couldn't stop it.
What is your ultimate goal with this memory? To forgive yourself? To forget it altogether? What is your goal?
I don't know.
You do know. You know what you want. So tell me.
Forgiveness for letting him die.
You didn't let him die. As I heard it, the Rangers let him die. Not to throw blame around, but him blacking out and pointing a weapon let him die. From what I understand, you shot someone trying to kill you. He had all the power in the world to alert himself to who he was, and he didn't. And then his flunkies underneath him had all the power in the world to help you save him, and they didn't. That's two faults that are not yours. You shot a gun. Anyone would have, because if you didn't, someone else would have been dead, and you would have been sitting here thinking the same thing, but for a different name. Let go of that blame, because the blame is not yours. The well that you're poisoning is not the right one. Don't blame the dead. He suffered his consequence. Blame the tans that let him bleed out. I'm sure there's still a few left there, skittering about.
Shan's the only one left in that crew.
Then you have the well to poison. Imagine if that wretched, vile thing feared actual things coming for him.
They don't fear shit.
Yet. I promise you, I saw a lot of fear of hers when I had her on my table.
I wish I could make her relive that night. I wish I could make her see it from my perspective and watch him die. And she would know it's her fault for letting him bleed out on the ground instead of stopping when she could have just stopped. They don't ever fucking stop.
Perhaps this is your chance to help them stop. Show them the ultimate forgiveness by making them wash their sins away, first by realizing what they were, then making them repent for it, so to speak, and in forgiveness. Then all can feel healthy, all healed.
I want to help you. With whatever you're working on, I want to help.
I'm sure you know some of it. CID's caught at some before, but they usually just equivalent it to my wife's doings. It's actually quite annoying. As much as I love my wife, I am seen as a lackey for her.
You're not a lackey.
I make a point, though, saying that I love my wife. Don't ever take what little jealousy I have as some misgivings for her. The point of me bringing that up is because if you help me with this, you are not some pawn. You are not some means to an end, as I've said. You let go of that fear you have on us leaving and understand I'm not leaving because I need you. And then when my needs are met, it's not going to be just a thank you and goodbye. It's just the beginning. I'm rambling.
It's okay, I ramble all the time. I can help with this. I want to help with this, and maybe it'll help people see things for what they really are.
It's the reason I needed that psychiatric center. Sure, I need a lab. That's obvious, but I need a place of a place that will start as a chapel of dread, but will be seen as a beacon of hope once the city understands and gets the treatment it needs.
I can try and look back into that whatever the fuck Bags used.
I'm curious if there's still a sample about.
It would have been in that place, or I have to think. It's been a really long time. But I do still have the video somewhere. If I could find it, maybe there's a clue in the video.
If you do find it, review it. You, myself, and the wife will take a field trip together. There's no harm in being spotted with us visiting around the city. We're not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, but the more I'm seen with you, the more risky it is for me sometimes.
Sure, but you can be blackened out.
I'm good
We
at
can
that.
claim you're anyone. Shit, people won't question if I gave you an old plague mask. Quite a few of my old people are still wearing them, apparently.
Alex still wears his.
Alec wishes for one of two things.
Reformation of the plague were to be read?
Indeed.
Yeah, I figured. There was a moment there where I almost took a different path, you know?
I would enjoy hearing about it.
There was a brief moment. I wasn't in EMS yet. Not in this city anyway. Mm. I almost robbed the Evangelico. I mean, given I did it because I couldn't operate on anybody yet, because I wasn't allowed and I had a friend who was dying, so I took matters into my own hands and sort of forced the cops to show up because I knew one of them was also an EMT, and then I sort of held a guy at gunpoint and demanded that he go help my friend. It's kind of exciting.
It gets the blood pumping.
I should let you go. I've taken up a lot of your time tonight. I'm sorry.
You've taken no time at all. Let me leave you with this. In a show of trust, something I've only told my wife. Remember that titles, power. You got that surgery done because you can, not because someone said you are now a surgeon, therefore you are knighted or whatever, right? Power
Yeah.
comes because you declare it. I have no doctorate. I have no professional schooling past the basic level of college. Just a love for what I do and years of practice that a school could not teach. And people call me doctor all the same. You know why?
Why?
Because I demand it. Demand what you want and take it. From one doctor to another.
I feel like I could do that.
I have no doubt that you could. Blood or not, you are your mother's daughter. Different goals, different dreams, perhaps. Same drive.
It's because I usually want to get my way in the end, I guess. I've been told I can be very stubborn and determined.
Be a king or be a slave. There's no in between, but choose one. Don't dally in the middle ground. Make your decision of what you want in life and do it. And be a peasant that does as they're told or take control.
Thanks, Dr. Berman.
But of course, now don't get me wrong, if you choose the way of peasantry, well, I'm going to drag you kicking and screaming because I won't see you fade into nothingness.
I am not a peasant.
You're damn straight you're not. Even the first time I met you, half asleep and untold of exactly who the fuck you were because my wife thought it would be funny. I could see it.
I'm too fucking Yeah, I'm too much like my dad or my mom to be like that. I can't help it.
Thankfully, I'm nothing like my kin.
You're gonna have to tell me about them sometime. I don't know much else about you.
By design.
Hmm.
Not many people do.
Maybe over coffee later sometime you could tell me?
Sure. I don't know their end fates, but I can tell you about them.
I'd like that. Alright. I am gonna go find this goddamn video. And I'm gonna remember the name of this goddamn gas. Or chemical or whatever the fuck it was.
If you do a tenth of the help that you did for my wife, I have no doubt my product will spread and help those far and wide. Thank you again for your time, Miss Evie.
No problem. Alright. I am gonna go. I'm gonna find this video. And yeah. Thanks, Crane.
But of course,
Yeah. Have a good night.
you as well.
Night, Terry. See you, Aaron.